Welcome. My name is Frank Klesitz with Viral Marketing. You're in for a treat today. We have Koby Sway here with the Adam Briley team, one of the top performing teams in the United States, based out of my hometown, Omaha, Nebraska. Adam has stepped aside to other endeavors, and Koby leads the team, armed with the right metrics and dashboards to know exactly what's going on up front before if there's any problems that lead into profitability or commission issues. And Koby is a client of RealSync, and we have Scott Solari here, who is the one of the executives there at the company. You'll hear from him shortly. And Koby's going to show you his dashboards today, which is pretty cool. To be able to go through and actually see all of the numbers of how they're set up. And one of the reasons you're here is you want to see what numbers does Koby pay attention to. There's only so many metrics you can focus on. Which one does he pay attention to that are the true leading indicators of where the team wants to go for production and profit? And how those numbers are communicated with the agents to lead them and guide them to productivity. So if you're here and you want more out of your real estate agents, and you want more predictability and more consistency and just some more insight to what's going on, Koby's going to show you. You ready, Koby?
Rock and roll. Appreciate you putting this together. It's nice that viral marketing. I want to say thank you. I appreciate you setting up everything. I didn't have to do anything,
Thanks. Yeah,
so
that's
I
the
really
idea.
appreciate it.
Yeah, floor is yours, man. So actually, let's do this. Scott,
Yeah.
you have a good relationship with Koby. Koby came to you because he needed to solve the problem of what we're going to talk about today. Why don't you just share to start the story with before we get into the dashboards where from the problem that RealSync solved and how you found Koby and getting this in place to lead to the very dashboards we have today.
Yeah, you got it, man. So, we've been working together, Kobe, now for like 3 years,
Yeah, maybe four.
maybe 4 years. So, RealSync is it's funny, man. Like I try to think about because we have multiple products now, it's like what type of company we are. But I think really at the end of the day, like we're a data company, and we're moving data, we're automating data, we're presenting and showing data. So, when Kobe came to us, Frank, and everyone out there, he's running a large operation and he needed to make, to connect some systems basically to make his operations more smooth, especially on the mortgage side. So we set up some custom integrations between his CRM and his mortgage company's CRM, so they had transparency and visibility on all the leads and activities and notes and everything that was happening so that ultimately Kobe knows this, like you can make better decisions once you have that visibility and you know what's going on. Your agents can too, right? So that's how we started our relationship, and it's just grown from there, and we're constantly doing you know uh, integration type automation things for him. And then when we rolled out RealSync 2.0, our business intelligence dashboards, um, you know, uh, we slid this right into his tech stack and started reporting on everything that's happening in his CRM to give him those KPIs and transaction analytics and everything else. And so that again, you have the visibility and accountability. And now Kobe's got what 76 team members that we're reporting data on. So, it's been I think, he thankfully he's been such a great advocate for our company and really helped push us along by always thinking outside the box. And I think that goes and talks to how great you are at being an operational and sales manager and just understanding like what needs to get done
Mhm.
to in order to be successful.
So Koby, take me now where you realize you needed a solution like what Scott sells.
I think it's um, really what it comes down to is you got a lot of data, you get overwhelmed, right? Like what do you look at? Do you look at lead statuses? Do you look at under contracts? Do you look at agent activity? And I think the thing to really wrap your mind around is um, you can only do so much with data, and data can destroy your afternoon. It can destroy your day, and it can defeat you, especially running a team. As we've scaled from 10 agents up to 60 plus, and like Scott said, now we have over 70 because we have VAs and ISAs and admin and TC. We got all these people. It's just very difficult to know where to put your time and attention. And it would take me hours to look at just small metrics. And then it's like, okay, by then it's already done. You're looking at it, it's 2 weeks old. So, talking to Scott, I really realized there's a gap in the market as far as like, what's the good data? What should we focus on? And how do we drive revenue for agent productivity for, business owners, but also for the real estate agent? Like they don't want to be spinning the wheels all day and they get lost in the sauce. When you have 1,000 leads under your name, how do you even know where to start?
And you have dashboards set up for all 70 agents.
Yes.
That's phenomenal. All right. I'm going to give you control of the screen here if you don't have it.
Here, I
And
can do it, and then Koby can walk us through it. So I have
Yeah.
his,
Scott can run it. I'll just talk through it.
all right, do
yeah,
you guys have the permissions for it?
yep,
All right.
I can share.
Let's show me the way, man. That's what everyone's here for.
Am I doing the right screen? Yeah, we're good. Okay. So, um,
Scott, make your window a little smaller, will you? Just reduce the size of the window and only share the window because it's yeah.
well, here, what I'll do is I'll pull it out, and then, okay, I did this last time. I'll reshare. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll,
Reshare, make the window a little smaller. It's easier to see. Perfect.
okay, is that good?
Yeah,
Or
that's
a
better.
little bigger?
That'll work.
Okay.
Right.
So what you're looking at Koby's live dash, and obviously you have, his transaction numbers, but like one of the nice things that we're talking about, and again, like you can see the 76 agents here, is that like you can get very granular, right, Koby? Like
Yeah.
where you can come through here and be like, you know what, I want Cedric is doing great, or he's not doing great. I want to look at just Cedric's numbers, right? Or Billy or Antonio or whatever. Or you can click a select amount of people. So it really gives you a lot of control to essentially, go through the data. So Koby, like when you're looking and trying to like make decisions and pull levers, like what specific stuff on the dashboard are you kind of looking at? Because obviously there's a lot of data here. You have the transaction data, you have your conversion metrics. This is a really eye-opening thing for the whole organization, right? Where do you go generally to review data?
So the biggest thing is, like I was alluding to earlier, is it's just you're overwhelmed with the amount of responsibility as far as the leads. Whether you have two people or you have 70, it's the same
Yeah,
problem. It's always the same problem. The number one thing that realtors can do is have conversations. It's the number one way you can drive revenue is to have conversations, right? Without a
yeah,
conversation, you don't get a sale. And the statistic out there is every 40 conversations gets a sale. So the first thing you need to look at is, are my real estate agents having conversations and what's their conversation goal, right? And it's an easy algorithm, an easy math that you can do. Take the number of sales the agent wants to get, 20, 15, 10, doesn't matter. Take it times 40. That's it. And now you have your conversation goal. And you can set, with Scott's system here, you can set the number of conversations per agent and then you can track it. So like the first thing I always look at, and I think that the easiest thing to look at is just, are they making enough calls? Are they making enough conversations? Are they setting up what they're setting, or excuse me, are they doing the things that they describe they're going to do just from conversations? So the first step is conversations. And then really you got to get on the board first. So it's first like, are they calling? And then the second point being on the board is, what do they do with the call? Because otherwise, Scott, if I'm having a conversation with it and I go, hey, how'd it go with Frank the other day? Imagine
yeah,
if I say, well, how'd it go with Frank? I don't need to know how it went with Frank. If they're using the CRM or the tool or the system and they had an appointment set, are they meeting the client, right? So then the next
right,
step is, did they meet them or did they not meet them? Did they set an appointment and did they not set an appointment? Because at the end of the
yeah,
day, one of the things that we learn, and we use another tool out there that listens to phone calls. And what we found is when you, at the beginning of a call and then at the end of the call. So, hey, Scott, I want to talk to you about looking at a property, whatever. By the end of the call, it should be an appointment set. All right, Scott, just to recap, we're actually going to be meeting tomorrow at X date, or we're going to meet next week at X date. So a lot of realtors get lost in the sauce of the conversation. They get lost in the sauce about bedrooms, bathrooms, kids, financials, whatever. They forget to set the appointment. So then if you know they're making calls, Scott, the next step is, are they setting an appointment? And
yeah,
without setting appointments, you don't make money in this job, right? It's still a face-to-face, hand-to-hand combat. I don't care what AI robot you have. I don't care what website you have. I don't care what email you have. None of that shit matters, in my opinion. The only thing that matters is meeting human beings face to face. So first, I always look at conversations, and then second is, did they set an appointment?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at these numbers right here, you're doing 8%, which is better than 1 in 40. Like if I do my math right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you over the last 12 months, it's showing that you had 8,874 conversations and you closed 741 deals, which is awesome. So you have these, which it gives you really good insight right here. And then if we wanted to pick on the sell side, let's just say who's an agent that maybe that you'd be okay singling out and looking at their numbers.
I could look at Aaron Career. He'd be right on top there.
Okay. So we pull up Aaron. And now over the last, well, let's see. All right, so it shows over the last 6 months, he's had only 3 appointments. Maybe he's not setting his appointments properly here, Koby. Um, but you can see that you can actually look at the Mets agreements pending closed,
Well,
right?
and here's
Which
what
is
I would
what,
tell you too is like, here's an example. Okay. So Aaron Career, for example, is a real estate agent on our team. He's an older vet, older established agent, doesn't use the system a ton, right? So like the reason why I said just use Aaron, it's fine, is he's using somewhat of the system, right? So the conversation, of course, it's ongoing. It's not like,
yeah,
and again, we could pull up better agents, but I don't want to fluff you up. I'd rather pull up one of my worst using agents in my CRM, which is fine. Here's what I would tell you. This is an established agent that has been doing away a certain way for 10 years. And my point of saying that is it's an ongoing conversation, Scott. That's the beauty of this tool is, hey, Aaron, you use this tool and here's some of the progress you've seen. Are you open? Are you willing to have a conversation about ways that we can increase the sales? Because Aaron, just so you know, he wants to go from selling 12 to 18 million next year. In order to go from 12 to 18 million, we have to make a few changes. So again, I could give you a better, agent, but at the end of the day, like this is just an example of one of our realtors of how they use it. And again, because people say all the time, "Oh, my agents don't use this here, or my agents don't do that." Well, okay, great. Well, then just give up. But here's what I'll tell you: this agent right here has started to use the CRM. If you would have looked at his stuff, a while ago, you've seen zeros on everything. So to me, it's
yeah.
like progress.
Well, well, right. I mean, he has 1.3 million in listings right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
In pending, 6 units pending, right? And then you can see his closed volume the last 12 months on the listing side, and we can go up and find him on the buyer side too. But what's really nice is you can get really granular. Like that was just the listing side of the business for for Aaron, right? So it's when you talked earlier about like how do you look at all the data, it's like this type of tool really can help you, right? Where if you have something in your head, you're like, man, I wish I knew that or I could find that easy. This allows you kind of to do that.
Well, and again, every lead has a stage. Excuse me. So every lead has a stage. Like on the right side, if you scroll back up again, Scott, the other thing I really like is go up a little bit more, the funnel section. Right, no,
Oh
right
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So the funnel's great, you guys, because every realtor in the world understands this. Every salesperson in the world understands this. Sales are sales. I don't care if you're selling cars, sneakers, cell phones, realtors. So it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Okay. It's where am I at with the actual client or the lead or the prospect? And it's taking them down the funnel or the path. One of the reasons why Zillow is so successful with analytics and data, and the cool thing that Scott's built with RealSync is it takes the progress of a lead down the funnel. We all know that when they're first looking at a house, they're interested in buying, they're dreaming, as you will. They're like, oh, I don't know what it would be like to buy a house. They're at the top of the funnel. Okay. So it's like, when am I engaging on the clients and how often am I engaging? All depends on the client and the interaction and the status. So another cool thing I like about this, Scott, is you can see exactly where the statuses are for just the whole team. So there's
Yeah.
potential revenue, right? Or if you want to drill down to, again, we'll say Aaron Career or whatever, you can drill down to the independent agent and say, okay, well, look, Aaron, let's just say, for example, we had Aaron up. Look, we've got some opportunity here. There's some opportunity in you using the system. You actually have 36 people in the lead status. You haven't updated in 3.5 months. So the other cool thing is you can call out the agent and sit with them. I mean, this is a user-friendly, easy to view. There's no guesswork. You're not like looking through spreadsheets and shit. You literally can just look at it visually.
Yeah. So I had a question because like obviously it's nice, they're using let's say they're using the CRM and you're seeing the data and everything. But, for you to grow to 76 agents, man, like what what are you taking like if an agent comes into your team, like what are you taking off their plate so they can actually focus and be productive? Because I think that's one of the biggest things. It's like, a lot of agents are running around at different brokerages and different organizations, and they have to wear a lot of hats. I feel like you have such a operation dialed in to where you can really help remove all of the things that are distracting them to get them hyper focused.
Well, and you said it. I mean, it's like, again, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. We all have local competitors and we have national competitors. At the end of the day, they all have the same kind of junk, you guys. They all have the same kind of stuff. They have stuff that's inexpensive or free, low quality. The difference that I found with our team and why I go deeper on, say, this RealSync platform, is you don't need the guesswork. It's that simple, you guys. It's sales, right? Who do I need to call? What do I need to say? And what's the status of the client? It's that simple. And we can complicate it by doing texts and emails and calls and notes and follow-ups and open house. Like none of that stuff matters, you guys. That's just fancy fun stuff that ChatGPT tells you to do. It's what's the status of the lead, Scott? And what do I need to do to get to the next step? And again, it's just kind of like reminding them, hey, Scott, it's been 12 days since you followed up with 12 people. Hey, Scott, you've got 30 people that are actually in met with status. Why have you not changed the status to showing homes or under contract? Or, oh, actually, 6 of them are ghosting me. How do you know they're ghosting you? Well, they're up in here. Okay, cool. Well, I've got a tool or a system where I can actually literally see the actual clients. So we take a lot of the guesswork out on the leads. A lot of brokerages and agencies and teams don't focus on that. They always focus on the other fancy stuff, auto text, auto email, auto that. None of that stuff actually converts to sales, right?
Koby, I have to say something. I'm interpreting your numbers as you guys are talking. And Scott, go really slow on the scrolling.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I know you stare at these all day long, so you know everything's happening. Okay. So
all the demos I'm
slow,
doing.
but just go on up really quickly here.
Yeah.
To that pipeline. Okay, so
this one right here?
No, farther up. The one at the very top right. Okay,
Yeah.
so what you're telling me in the past 6 months, your company has set 208 appointments, of which 177 showed up.
Well, this is just the buy side.
Okay, just the buy side. So of 177 appointments, you closed 96. So you're better than 2-1.
Yeah, it's doing good.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. Frank, if you just again, just keep it simple. I always
2-1.
If you just use the system, it'll tell you what to do, Frank. It's that simple. Hey, I have to call this person. I've talked to them in 20 days.
What do you got on the sales side? Met to closed.
I'm sorry?
Met to close. I mean, see right there, if I was recruiting, I would say all things considered is that when you go on an appointment with our brand and our systems and our backing and everything we have with our lead sources and what we teach you, for every 2 appointments you go on one, you have closing on the buy side. And then on the sell side, do we have that?
Yep. I could switch
this is the marketer in me having the right messaging to get you recruiting appointments.
so we have 12 months here. If you want, I can go 6.
And by the way, Koby, I just can't, when we asked you to do this webinar of like just showing these dashboards publicly, like this is the most, like talk about, going through very intimate business data of a real business to show this. I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone here attending this. These are real numbers.
Yes, of course. You're welcome, Frank. I appreciate it.
Again, you're still at 2-1, basically. That's phenomenal. That right there, my goodness, that needs to be on a billboard.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing too is, again, like this is, sometimes people forget this, but there's 250 million leads generated a year, 250 million leads generated a year. And there's 5 million sales. But again, one of the things that makes it unfair, if you will, or an advantage is I only partner with the best lead systems. It's that simple. Like, I don't care if the lead costs $2 from Facebook. I don't care if it comes from Google for 50 cents. I can tell you statistically, the partners and relationships I have with some exclusive lead sources are the best in the country. So that's another reason why, Frank, my numbers are a little skewed.
You're getting bottom of the funnel leads.
I'm getting, almost near middle to the bottom almost every time. And again, we have the other thing too that's cool on our team is we have ISAs calling I have newsletters going out. I have text messages getting sent. I have marketing getting sent. So like I'm hitting these clients all over the place. It's not like just, hey, Frank, here's a phone number. Good luck. It's literally 16 different things we're doing. And then when you call, Frank, you're like, oh my gosh, like I've heard so much about your team already. I feel like I already know you guys. That's the kind of messaging that we're bringing to each of the leads. So we're getting some of the best leads, but we're also doing some unique stuff to help us stand out.
Which really does make a difference, right? And if you're a realtor in your market right now, like watching this or just in general, like having that type of support so that when you do make that call, it's like a warm lead that you're calling. It's like they know who you are. I mean, that makes such a big difference, man. That because
Yeah.
realtors don't want to be calling, I mean, even your ISA calling, but like realtors don't want to be calling cold leads. They get so
No.
defeated. And we know that.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like they've been pounded over the head to call cold leads for a
Oh,
decade, and everyone, when I look at it, I'm like, this is the wrong thing. They shouldn't be doing that. They should have an ISA making the cold lead call, not the agent. Agent should be calling warm leads, right? So
yeah.
you're
Well,
setting,
and
you're
they
teeing
all
them up.
and they all have. Scott, to your point is everybody has their strengths, right? And realtors that we have doubts, we have fears, we have rejection issues, and the reason why an ISA is so good at calling is because they normally don't have an emotional connection. They don't have fears. They're on the phone 8 to 10 hours a day. Where a realtor, maybe they're cold calling, let's say 90 minutes a day or 60 minutes or 30 minutes. So like realtors here, they get beat up on the phone, but ISAs get beat up 1,000 times more. So like you said, I would rather have an ISA get beat up all day long and replace ISAs than replace realtors. I would rather have realtors have the good mental space and let
Yeah.
my ISAs turn over, which I actually don't. I have great ISAs. I've had them for 3 years. Some of the best ISAs in the country have stayed with me, but I don't mean that in a bad way. But we try to hire good quality call center people that literally, like I worked at AT&T for 10 years. I can tell you. So like a lot of the ISAs we've hired worked at say AT&T or Verizon or something, and they were on the phone 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? So like
Yeah.
they're used to being treated poorly and they don't take offense to it as like we do as a realtor, if you will.
Kobe, I'll share just something interesting. Let's say I go to a bar and say, how many of you would love to sell real estate? I'm sure anywhere, most people would say, yeah, sure, sounds great, I'm in. Then I would say, okay, well, you have to come on in here and you have to start calling people saying, would you like to meet with me? And then all the hands go down, right?
Totally.
But then I would say one extra thing. I'd say, well, what if you called and said, would you like to meet with me? Where you're not taking the rejection, you're still calling, but you're trying to book the appointment for me. The hands go back up.
Exactly.
And what you just said there was such an important, wise insight. Is it's a lot easier for someone to make the calls and follow up when they're booking an appointment for someone else than themselves.
Yeah. Of course.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's just some nuances that you've learned over time, and again, like, I
That's a
think the other
deep
thing,
nuance.
well, and I think the other thing that I've learned too is, again, you guys, there's a 90, let's call it 90%, keep it simple. There's a 90% churn on realtors. It's the fact, right? 50% of them sell one house, 70% of them sell three. That's a nationwide stat. So, in order to be successful, you've got to help them do something different than what they were doing before, right? So, like, if, for example, you're at a brokerage or a team, it doesn't matter, and they say, hey, just make this, Frank, just call these people. Great. I got one sale. Frank, just go do open houses. Great. I got one sale. What they're doing isn't working. Why? If it was working, why would 90% of realtors fail? Right. So you got to change what you're doing.
Let me ask
Um,
you that. Let me ask you this. As I'm, this is really important for the audience. What's going through their mind. I mean, you have 70 agents and you have all this data. How do you relay this information on, I don't know, the regular meetings, whether it's a pod meeting or a one-on-one meeting,
mhm.
to appropriately and positively motivate improvement?
That's a good question. What I have found over time is, and this is something I worked with some of my coaches, is you can't tell anyone what to do. And you definitely don't want to tell them something negative to push them down because most human beings are negative. Social media will show you 98% negative. So you have to find, like Frank, what you're saying is, how do you do it in a way where you can hold them accountable, push them in a positive way, but show them the reality of the number? And what we try to do, honestly, is I focus on what are your three whys? What do you want? What do you want to do with the money? If you want to make 80 grand, Frank, that's what I always ask. What do you want to do with the money? And then you're going to tell me three things you want to do with the money. And then I keep going to that. And I say, Frank, you said you wanted to go to Disney World. You said you wanted to pay off debt. You wanted to do this. You want to do that. That's up to you, Frank, whether you're going to make the calls. It's up to you, Frank, if you do the open houses. But here's what I can tell you. If you do these things, I can get you to Disney World. If you don't do these things, I can't help you. And that's how I keep the conversation as real as possible. So I use this tool and I sit with the agent and I show them some of the basic data. And it's not a beat up session. It's just a possibility. Here's the possibility if you actually used the system. It's not like, oh, well, let me call you out and say, Frank, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, because that's not going to help you. It's here's the possibility. And then normally it's as easy as, hey, here's what Scott doing. Frank, here's what you could be doing. Well, could you be doing what Scott's doing? And it's like, okay, yeah, actually, I could probably beat Scott. Yeah, I think I'm better than him. So sometimes it's side by side, but we normally, to keep it simple, we focus on your three reasons or three things you want to do with the money that year. That's how I've always found to motivate people.
You're a good leader, Koby. You meet everyone where they're at.
We try to.
You and your team know the three reasons for all 70 people.
Yep, we got them on a spreadsheet, and
Do you really?
yeah, I got every single one of them on my spreadsheet.
And when did you learn that? When was that? When was that aha of like, I need to maybe shift just for the audience here? Because that's a very wise insight. Can you speak to that a bit? Because it's one thing to show the numbers, another thing how to use them.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, I started on the team, right? I worked in corporate America for 20 years. And one of the things I learned from corporate America was you have to, like you said, you have to meet people where they are. You can't get them to, like, a lot of people struggle with is, why aren't they like Frank? Why aren't they like Scott? Why aren't they like me? You guys, all three of us don't think the same. You might think analytical, you might think about other things. So it's like, how do I change your thinking? I'm not going to change your thinking because you grew up a certain way, you were nurtured a certain way, you have certain influences that I can't control. So instead of trying to control and change what you do, I want, again, like you said, what I learned was in real estate is there's a lot of entrepreneurism. There's a lot of like, I want to make a lot of money. I want to get in and I want to blow it up and I want financial freedom and all the cool stuff that goes with real estate, right? So what I learned was the first year or two, I really struggled because I was like, can you just go do this? And I was not getting anywhere with anybody. And then I just started having just basic conversations and saying, why did you get into real estate? And what do you want to do with the money? And that's all I talk to people about for the most part now is, what do you want to do with the money? Why are you in real estate? And if you continue to remind people why they're doing this job compared to what they used to do or compared to what they want to do, cold calling doesn't sound so bad. Open houses doesn't sound so bad. Door knocking doesn't, like, nothing sounds as bad as one of the worst jobs you were at. Because normally people, before they get into real estate, they're in one of the worst jobs. They have a shitty boss. They don't like the hours. They're struggling. They're financially not happy. So in order to make that shift, Frank, it's simple. If you don't want to go back to what you're doing, I want you to do these things instead. And you can see the results.
How do you coach 70 people to that?
That's not easy. So we do it a few different ways. We do one-on-ones, but normally we do a lot of smaller pod, like you call it, smaller pod meetings and then group meetings and targeted meetings. So I actually split the team up into thirds. So I have bottom third, middle third, and top third. And we have different things that we focus on with each of those groups. And then we layer it on top with different things at the one-on-ones or different sessions, if you will. And you guys, it doesn't matter if you get from, even when we had 10 agents and we have 70 or we have 100, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. Frank, what do you want to do? And then are you making an impact in your life? If I text you on your birthday or I call you and ask you about your day, or again, imagine how simple this is. If I said, hey, Frank, I know your wife's name is Tammy, and I make a real estate call. This is how I want you to think about this. This is where realtors struggle, is if I called you and I said, hey, Frank, I know you and Tammy were just celebrated your 5-year wedding anniversary. Just want to say congratulations. I know that it's been a while. We haven't chatted in a while, but I know we looked at houses a couple of years ago, and I was thinking about you guys. Hopefully you had a great wedding anniversary, and I want to see if there's anything I can do to help you in real estate. And again, this is short, but I want to know if there's anything I can help you in real estate. I'm trying to grow my business this year, Frank, and I would love to help you and your wife, Tammy, going forward. If I said those personal touches, you would think that I care about you. I'm interested in you. I have a great memory. That's how I do that with the agents. I have my list of my whys. So if I check in with an agent and I say, hey, you want to get your wife out of her job, it makes it feel like, and I do care. It doesn't come off right. I do care, but it makes it seem like I'm more connected in your business because I'm actually talking to points that you care about.
Yeah.
Man, that's really good, dude. So when you hear per agent productivity, per agent profit, you have 70 agents that you divided into thirds. I like that. And you probably speak to each third differently because there's probably different
Of course.
needs on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs goals, where everyone's at.
Of course.
You have these numbers, it integrates with your CRM, you have the reporting. Are you pulling up the RealSync dashboards on the one-on-ones and in the small groups?
Yes, of course.
Speak
Absolutely.
speak to that a little bit.
So what we're
How,
doing it,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, no, it's simple. It depends on the meeting, but of course, almost every meeting we have a conversation around the data because again, numbers don't lie. That's what I love about numbers. And again, not every agent uses the CRM. Not every agent does whatever. They're all the agents always say that, or team leaders across the country. They're like, oh, they don't do this, they don't do that, they don't do this. I'm like, that's fine. You can't control that stuff. But what you can control is what's in front of you. So all you have to do, again, let's say it's Aaron Freer. All you have to do is say, Aaron Freer, look, this is what it is. And he's like, well, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. And it's like, Aaron, how would I know that? Well, I guess if I use the CRM, you'd know that. Great. So what's the disadvantage of using the CRM? Right. So that's what the conversations look like is you put the numbers in front of them. And again, every agent's not going to use the CRM 100%. So the data is always going to be skewed a little bit. You're never going to get a perfect salesperson to use the CRM. That's why they're in sales. They're crazy. Right. So it's getting some of the data in front of them. Sometimes it's printing. Sometimes it's pulling it up on the visual. And most meetings that we're in front of a TV or in front of a screen, but sometimes we will print them. But the beauty of any meeting is numbers don't lie. So every meeting should be discussed. Where am I at in my business and what can I do to help you? The only singular thing I can help you in your business, Frank, is to make you more money or to make you more organized. It's usually time or money. You can't have both. You can't have a lot of money and then do nothing all day in real estate, right? Like some businesses you can. But in real estate, you have to go meet people, right? So if I can organize your database and have the leads be a little more organized and you're calling the right people instead of the wrong people more often, then you're actually getting more time back in your day, which is what people care about. They don't want to
Yeah.
call, like Scott was saying earlier, cold dead leads. They want to call the right leads. So if you're using the CRM the right way and I can point to the 6 people you need to call today, you're taking the guesswork out of your job.
It's interesting, Koby. You have 20 years of professional management.
Yeah.
It shows. Yeah, you're a senior executive manager.
Uh-huh.
You know, this is great. I
Yeah. So, I
mean,
mean, if you look at, we were looking at Aaron earlier, like he has one conversation logged in Follow Up Boss,
Yeah.
right?
how are you
So
gonna
you
handle
can
that one?
see, yeah. So, obviously he's not calling through Follow Up Boss, right? But that gives you insight. So it's like when you look at the data and you go, well, clearly he's not doing that. Obviously, he's making phone calls and talking to people because his numbers are amazing, and he closed over 6 million last year, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh, well, there you go.
that's coachable, right? So that's what we're talking about is like when you present that, you can go, well, there's no way for me to go if you make if you have 10 more conversations a month, it'll convert to this much more business because I can't see it in the data unless you start using Follow Up Boss, right? And then
Yeah. Well, it's an easy conversation, guys. It's simple.
totally.
Like I like to tell people it's like football, right? Like if I'm going to meet you on Monday to show you game footage, you better watch something, right? And if you're not using the CRM, what the hell am I going to watch? Um, right? It's that simple. So I
Yeah, yeah.
can't help you make money, Scott, or we'll say Aaron. I can't help you make money, Aaron, if I don't have the footage, right? Where's the gap? And that's the other thing that people miss is what's the cause for gap? I like to think of your business as sometimes it's training, sometimes it's execution, right? So again, the cool thing about RealSync is you can see the problems, right? You can see whether it's training or execution. And sometimes it's training. It's like, hey, you know what? I don't know how to use the CRM for this, or hey, I'm struggling to say this on the phone, or I'm struggling to send these messages, and great. Now I see the data is showing me you're making tons of calls, but you're not setting any appointments. So now I can listen to some of the calls and say, hey, you're missing these points right here. Great. Let's say they are setting appointments, but then face to face, they're struggling. Well, okay, well, what are you saying face to face? But again, if I don't know some of the data, I don't know what to focus on. Most team leaders and coaches and realtors are like, okay, I got to sell more homes. What should I do? And it's like, well, that's a loaded question. I don't know where to start. So let's figure out what is working.
Yeah.
Um, Koby, question for you. There's other business intelligence analytics tools out there. Why
Oh,
RealSync?
yeah. The thing I like about working with Scott directly is I call him, I text him, I email him, I reach out to him. His team always is available. They answer all my questions because I'm not an intelligent guy when it comes to tech. Like I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. So like the cool thing is I reach out, he's always available. When I reached out to other companies, I found that they weren't as responsive, they weren't as helpful. And we started our relationship 3 or 4 years, maybe it was 4 years ago. And it was a
Yeah.
simple integration. It was like, I need to get my lead from here to here. And I tried to log into, I don't remember the website anymore. And I Googled it. And this is before ChatGPT. And I was like, Jesus, this is terrible. And constantly I get hit up on different companies, constantly get hit up on different ones. But I haven't found anybody. And you guys, I mastermind with people across the country, hundreds of different business operators. And I haven't found one that's easy to work with, consistent, and always answers our information in a timely manner. I don't want to talk to a chat bot. I don't want to wait 6.5 hours. I don't want to do any of that. Scott's always available.
Cool. This is really good.
Thanks,
I
man.
think I
I
think we
appreciate
answered.
that.
Yeah, you crushed it, Kobe. We answered all the questions for the promise of the webinar. Look, guys, if you're here live, ask your questions in the chat. This is your time to get some specific insight from Kobe. Are there any other questions you want to ask him, Scott? We're good.
No, I think when I was thinking about coming into this webinar, Kobe does such a good job with so many agents. I was curious on like, and I feel like we answered a lot of it of like, what are the things that he's doing to help them be really productive? Because of the numbers you said, where like 50, the turnover is what, 90%?
It is.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
it's fine.
crazy, right? So obviously you've figured out like a special sauce to really help those on your team, to make sure that you're pulling the levers so that they're pulling the right levers. So
Well, and one of the questions, sorry, I was going to say one of the
no,
questions
no.
that Eric asked in the chat was, I require our team to use the CRM for call for brokerage compliance and risk management. That sounds great. For, we'll say corporate lingo. Here's what I would tell you, okay? When you require something, do they actually want to do it? Right? Like the thing that you might be missing, Eric, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I don't know. You might run a phenomenal business. Who knows? Here's what I would tell you. It's not what's required, it's what they're actually wanting to do, what they're wanting to use. I get compliance reasons, right? Like someone calls in and freaks out and threatens you and sues you. But you guys, none of that matters. It's all about how am I going to make more money, Eric? That's the only thing that matters. It's not compliance, it's not risk, it's not calls, it's none of that. And this is why I don't require anything on my team. I don't require anything. I don't care because at the end of the day, you need to tell them the why behind it. And that's where a lot of, again, brokerages and teams struggle is they don't care about, I can tell you, I'm at Berkshire Hathaway. There's a billion things that we're required to do. I don't do any of them probably. Who knows? Um, the only reason that matters is, does it make me more money? So my agents, they don't care about anything at all that's required. Because I can tell you, we've onboarded over 150 realtors and we've required the CRM forever. And I can tell you, I've never gotten an agent to use the CRM 100% ever. It's never happened. Most agents use it 30% of the time. So again, I'm not saying Eric's right or wrong. The only reason I say that is when I onboard somebody, I would say, Scott or Eric, I would say the reason why the CRM is here is to make you more money. And here's the reasons why it makes you more money. It will help you with staying on top of birthdays, anniversaries. It'll stay on top of who to call, what to say. So it changes the narrative from required, which is like the speed limit. I don't drive the speed limit. The speed limit's 30. I drive 45. No one likes requirements. Everyone wants to know why it makes them more money. That's the only reason they care.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I mean?
It's
So,
good.
and
It's
then
good. It's you're tying the action to
exactly.
production, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Because
So
again,
it's
like it's like even Scott stuff, like my numbers look great. And again, we sell a lot, we do well, we're successful, whatever. Let's put that aside. Um, the agents use the systems if they see value in it, like Aaron Creer, who's been doing it for uh, 9 or 10 years. He's been a realtor. How do I get Aaron Creer to use it? Right now, he's using it sparingly, a little bit. How do I get him to use it? Keep showing him the data and keep showing him the numbers and keep showing him the systems and saying, this is why, this is why, this is why, this is why. Then he'll actually want to do it. If I go to Aaron, who sells 12 to $15 million a year some years, if I go to him and say it's required, he's going to say, I'm going to find someone else. That's what he's going to say. He doesn't care. And then Joe asked about turnover. Um, I assume turnover is low. What are the stats on onboarding and retention? Joe, the biggest thing is again, like making sure that they have options, right? You guys, everyone can go somewhere else, right? You can go to another brokerage, another team, and get better deals. This is something that my coach says all the time. Uh, we coach with a couple different companies, and my coach says it all the time. You're not that cool. You're not that special. You're not that amazing. You don't have the best splits. You should never have the best splits ever. Okay. Um, you should run a profitable business. Just like an employee or a realtor, they want to make money. You should be able to make money as a business owner. You should have no problem saying, I want to make money. Is it okay, Scott, you want to make money? Great. You want to make 250 grand? Is it okay if I make money off you? It's okay saying that. So, Joe, here's what I would tell you when it comes to turnover. Our turnover, yes, it is low, but the reason why it's low is because again, just so you know, a team agreement I have is month to month. They can fire me at any time for any reason. I don't have any contracts, nothing. And the reason why I do that is because I want to make sure that they see value in my brand and in my company. And during onboarding and retention, the last thing I would say is we use the RealSync data to convince them to stay. Because again, where are they going to get the statuses of all their leads and what to focus on? It doesn't matter if you do 150 sales or 2 sales a year. It's what do I do with my clients and my leads? And that's the number one thing that actually draws people to leave real estate is income and overwhelm with clients. Because again, they don't selling enough business. They're not selling enough business because they're not in front of the right clients. You have to get them in front of the right clients by the status of Scott's information. Without that, they don't know who the hell to call.
Koby, you should do more of these. Very good. Very, very, very good. I think everyone here is incredibly impressed. Thank you. I am.
Is
Yeah,
there
I appreciate it.
any other anyone else have questions? Oh, there was one from an anonymous. How many agents do you onboard a year? And the turnover rate again, but oh, that was
It's
you.
Joan.
Got it. Okay.
All right, Scott, make him an offer for RealSync.
No, I don't need to sell RealSync.
You
Yep.
can. You can tell people where to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, you go check us out and, you can book a demo with me and I'm happy to talk to you, not only about, again, going back to like RealSync's the data company. We help you with your data and automation integration, everything else. So if I can help you, I'll tell you that. If I can't, I'll tell you I can't help you. So that's just the way I do it. And I've always done it. So yeah, I've
The,
always been in the support role to help real estate
the
teams.
cool thing about Scott is you can just tell, right? You can tell the difference between salespeople and people that actually perform and execute. Scott executes. When you're getting calls and harassed, they have good salespeople, right? Scott, the difference is he'll tell you what the hell they can do and he'll tell you if he'll help you. It's that simple. He's just going to take your money. The cool thing is he's going to tell you what he can actually do and if he can help your brand or company. We started with something small like a plugin, or I may if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
And it's grown into other things. But the cool thing is Scott never called and said, you need to buy this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Almost every tech company sells you a bunch of shit you'll never use. And then, of course, they harass the piss out of you always. Why are they constantly harassing you? The cool thing is you meet with Scott one time and he'll tell you whether or not what he can do. So I know Scott won't sell himself, but he does a really good job of that. And that's why I keep staying with Scott is because, again, he doesn't sell me a bunch of junk and he stands behind what he says he's going to do.
And then Koby, you asked us to handle all the emails and the marketing and the social media to pull off this webinar. Just tell a little bit about that experience.
The cool thing is, I basically showed up. It's funny because Frank was like, "Hey, what are we talking about?" I'm like, "I don't know. You did everything, right?" The thing is, like, I don't have to prepare for a meeting because it's real stuff. I don't. What I don't like is going to a meeting and saying you got to say this, 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 this. I don't care about any of that. That's fake stuff. That's corporate America stuff. This is reality. All right. So the cool thing about viral marketing is they did everything on social media. They did everything for email. They did everything for the market. They did set up everything. All I had to do was show up today and start talking about real stuff that we're actually doing. So I do appreciate how simple and easy your company has made it for us to run something like this.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ben.
And if I could say, I used to work with Frank at Viral and I have a lot of clients that I recommend because again, just like Koby's experience, it's the same experience if you're paying a client trying to get videos out, especially if it's something that's you're struggling with getting content on social and out to your database to stay in touch. And we talked earlier about warming up your database and warming up the clients for the agents to call. That's what Viral does for you is they warm up that database. So when you do call, they recognize you, they remember you, and you're able to have a better conversation and convert more business. So it's an amazing company that's done for you, and I highly recommend it. I am a Viral client, have been a Viral client forever. They help us with our marketing, so it's awesome.
I posted here in the chat. You could check out Get Viral, guys. I put my email on there. Message me. If we send you in, we'll do a free seller lead generation video or agent recruiting appointment video with you. Just like we're having a conversation here, Koby. We're doing this together versus just like showing up by yourself and having to record.
Yeah.
This program, we're using a Zoom webinar, but when we record videos with you, we have a really cool service. We have an enterprise account called Riverside. This is what we use to record the videos with you. I put it in the chat.
Cool.
So unless there's anything else you guys want to say, we can wrap it up. I think we delivered everything on the webinar promise that we wrote.
I'm good. Kobe, I just want to thank you again for your time and how busy you are, man. 76 agents.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being
Appreciate you
here
having us.
and sharing your knowledge and
I'm going to
educating
put your
everyone.
email address in the chat, Koby. Hang on. Just
Yeah,
so
go
it's
ahead.
here. If you guys have questions for Koby, this is his email address. All right. We're out of here. Good job, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for attending.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll send the replay out shortly.
All right. See ya.